On this edition of the Lynch List, I'm going to be ranking my top 5 favorite retro fighting video games. If you know me well enough, I love retro video games, and I obviously love covering MMA, so I thought I'd do kind of a fun, different video here today and tell you which ones are my personal favorites. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm in my late 30s, so you can kind of get an idea of the era I grew up in and some of the games that I played growing up. So these will not include, newer games like Super Smash Brothers or anything along those lines. These are like retro games that I grew up playing. And I'll just first show you the list, and then we'll go through the order here. We've got Karate Champ for the arcade, which was famously in the movie Bloodsport, if you remember. Kung Fu for the Nintendo, which I still think is a great game. We've obviously got Mike Tyson's Punchout. We've got Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis. Would have also accepted the arcade version, although I don't think I ever played the arcade version that much. I definitely played the Genesis one, though. The Simpsons, which again is still kind of a fighting game. I know you're using weapons and stuff, but the Simpsons arcade game, one of the best arcade games of all time. We've obviously got Street Fighter. I have Street Fighter on here twice. I just meant to have it once, but Street Fighter. We've got Streets of Rage. We've got Virtual Fighter. We've got Wrestlemania 2000. I know it's pro wrestling. I'll explain why this is on the list in a second. And we've got X-Men, which again, I know you're using some powers and some weapons and stuff, but it's also a beat 'em up game, which I think does fit in this category. So let's go with number 5 here, and then we'll have some honorable mentions at the end. My number 5 pick here, and there's a variety of reasons we're going this way. We're going Streets of Rage 2. Now, why Streets of Rage 2 over Streets of Rage 1 or 3 or anything? Well, this is the one I played the most. It's got a really good soundtrack. The music is just so catchy, and it's something I really enjoy, and I think they definitely upped the graphics and the gameplay a little bit from Streets of Rage 1. This was for the Sega Genesis back in the day. That was my system. I was not a Super Nintendo guy. I was Sega Genesis all the way, so I still play it till this day. It's a very fun game. I know they've come out with newer versions and stuff, but yeah, Streets of Rage has to be on this list. Beat 'em up game. I mean, they had a lot of these games back in the day, but Streets of Rage really was one that stood out, not only from, like I said, the gameplay, the music. There were so many good things about Streets of Rage 2 when it comes to retro video games. Okay, let's go to number 4. This one, I know some people might not feel counts in this category, but I'm going to include it in there because I played a lot of it, and that is Wrestlemania 2000. Now look, I know pro wrestling's fake. You don't need to tell me that, but the game itself, you have to actually like beat people up and do different moves, and this was right up my alley, from the creative characters to the story mode that you could do. It was just so awesome. I poured so many hours into this game. This game literally has everything. This is a game that I think still holds up today. Maybe not with the graphics, kind of boxy and all that, but this was just such a fun game, and it was right in the height of the Attitude Era as well. So this really is one of the games that I have a real soft spot for. Let's get to pick number 3. This one has to be here. This has to be in anyone's top 5, and it's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the game that started it all. The original Punch-Out, still a fun, easy game to play as far as the timing and all that stuff, all the different characters, Glass Joe, you name it. Just an iconic game, and back in the day, this was like the coolest thing ever. The height of Mike Tyson, right? The most popular combat sports athlete, still one of the most popular combat sports athletes in the world, and just such an incredible game. The artwork, so many cool things about it. The music, I mean, yeah, nostalgic overload on that one, and just a fun game to play. Like, again, like each opponent had something different. You had to be a little bit strategic, and definitely love Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the regular Nintendo. Should mention that. Pick number 2, Mortal Kombat. Gotta be Mortal Kombat. Okay, Mortal Kombat was huge back in the day. When I was growing up, this game was on Sega Genesis. This was like the start of the government trying to ban video games, or them having to put the ratings on video games, because this game had a lot of blood. Very cool game, very cool characters. A lot of people feel like Mortal Kombat is better than some of the other games out there. I'll explain why. I don't think it's not my number 1, but Mortal Kombat for sure has a lot of great memories. They made the movie out of it, of course. They're still doing Mortal Kombat titles now, but Mortal Kombat has to be on anyone's list at this point, because Mortal Kombat's just such an iconic game, and even if you go back now, like just some of the moves you can do, the noises, the sound effects, like Mortal Kombat for sure has to be in anyone's top 5, I would think. And Mortal Kombat's just, one of the best ever. Can't say enough good things about it. And if you guys know me well enough, you know my number 1 pick here is going to be Street Fighter. I mean, come on. So many good things about Street Fighter. First off, it's got like really cool, like cartoonish artwork. The 16-bit artwork was outstanding. And I'm talking about Street Fighter, the arcade version, okay? That's what I grew up on. I think the very first arcade game I ever played was Street Fighter 2. The Hadouken, like that is so synonymous in our society now, the Hadouken, the Hadouken, all that stuff. It's amazing. Street Fighter is by far my favorite, one of my favorite video games of all time. The moves are a lot easier, I think, to use than Mortal Kombat, so that's why it gets a little bit of an edge. I think they did a better job of building the characters in Street Fighter 2 as well. Like, you see Ryu, Ken, Blanka, Guile, any of the names like that. To me, they're more iconic than some of the Mortal Kombat characters, which really did change a lot over the years. I know even Street Fighter's changed their characters a little bit now, but I mean, most people know the original lineup of Street Fighter 2. I like the fact that you went to different countries. I thought that was cool, you know, like Japan, US, Spain, wherever you name it. How about the music? That music is iconic. You hear that that is like right nostalgic overload for me. Street Fighter is still a game that I play as much as I can. Like, I can't get enough of it. I love it. I love the character building. Yeah, just love Street Fighter 2. Can't say enough awesome things about that game. So that is my number one pick. Before we go, let's talk about some of the honorable mentions. X-Men, I'll give that an honorable mention as well. Definitely one of the best 4-player arcade games you will ever get a chance to play. If you guys have not played this one, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Virtual Fighter's up there too. I definitely played a little bit of that back in the day. The problem with Virtual Fighter is the graphics just look so terrible now. Like, back then it was seen as innovative because it was 3D and everything else, but I don't think it holds up very well now, but I had to put it on this list because I played it definitely a little bit when I was growing up, so that's got to be on there. The Simpsons, same sort of thing as X-Men. Great 4-player game. Maybe the best Simpsons game that's ever come out, which is incredible if you think about all the Simpsons titles that have come out over the years and how long the Simpsons has been around. Kung Fu, actually, I think still holds up quite decently on the Nintendo. I still enjoy playing it, but it doesn't make my list as far as some of the other games in terms of the impact it had on me in terms of gameplay and nostalgia and all that. And then Karate Champ, I tried to get into it, because it was in Bloodsport, and Bloodsport, as you guys know, is like my favorite movie of all time, but it just does not hold up very well. But I got to give respect to that game because I think it's like one of the oldest fighting arcade games that was out there. So I got to pay homage to that. And I'm sure I'm missing a few other games here as well, but this is my personal top 5. So let's just go over it one more time. At number 5, we've got Streets of Rage 2. At number 4, we have WrestleMania 2000. At number 3, we have Mike Tyson's Punchout. At number 2, we have Mortal Kombat. And at number 1, we have Street Fighter 2. And by the way, that's Street Fighter 2, the Championship Edition. So that's with Bison and Balrog and all the bosses. The original Street Fighter 2 didn't have the bosses. You had to beat them in order to beat the game and all that stuff. So there we go. My top 5 favorite retro fighting video games. Hope you guys enjoyed this list. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm sure there's people who are in my age bracket, or maybe even some newer people as well that, are really into this type of stuff. Let me know what you think. Curious to get your list as well. And if you like this type of video, as far as the tier list and stuff, let me know some other ideas that you guys want to see me rank. But this was one I definitely wanted to do because, again, it combines my 2 loves of retro gaming and fighting. So let me know what you think. Let me know your list. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And also let me know if there's any other tier lists you want me to do in the near future. My name is James Lynch. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.